If you live outside of China, you will be extremely excited for this new smartphone. It's got everything you want in a flagship: global LTE bands, NFC, wireless charging, but it's also not perfect either. And this is the UMiDiGi Z2 Pro, recently launched at the Global Sources Fair in Hong Kong. I'm also collaborating with UMiDiGi to give away a UMiDiGi Z2 and a UMiDiGi Z2 Pro. Thank you so much. So once you're done watching this video, be sure to check out the description for the link to a giveaway and enter. It takes 5 seconds and it's free. But before we talk about the giveaway, let's talk about the specifications very quickly. This thing is packed to the brim with specifications. We've got the Helio P60 Octacore processor, a 6.2-inch 18.7:9 aspect ratio IPS LCD, 6 GB of RAM, 128 GB of storage, Android 8.1 Oreo, a 16 megapixel 8 megapixel rear camera, dual camera, and the front camera is also the same, 16:8, but it's a different sensor. And we also have wireless charging and NFC, a 3650 mAh battery, fingerprint sensor in the back, and Face ID as well. 17 LTE bands for global connectivity, and it costs $369 or about 298 euros as well. So let me know what you think in the comments down below about the price of the UMiDiGi Z2 Pro. $370, 290 euros, and 24,000 Indian rupee. So as you guys can see, this is a phone with a notch. I don't really care either way whether it's a notch or not. Some people have this mindset where if you have a notch, that means you're losing screen real estate, but really you're not. You're just gaining the two sides and you're not gaining the middle part of the actual notch itself. So in all actuality, you're actually gaining real estate. It just has a little notch that, you know, is really personal preference whether you like it or not. However, the thing that is a little bit disappointing here is that the promo pictures versus real life are actually a little bit different. If you look at the promo pics and you look at this real video, you'll see that the bezels around the screen are actually a lot bigger than what they look like in the promo pics. The promo pics made them look like the Ulefone T2 Pro, which you can check out here after you're done. But in real life, the bezels are actually a lot bigger than that. They actually look fairly big, you know, maybe even bigger than the Redmi Note 5 Pro, which, you know, doesn't look that great. But talking about the rest of the phone, this is a glass phone with a metal band. Again, I'm not a fan of glass phones, but you do need this phone to be glass because it does have wireless charging, so you can't really do that with a metal back. Rubber would have been nice, but most flagships don't really have rubber anymore. And of course, this thing will have USB-C as well, but no headphone jack. And finally, this thing is not waterproof, but most Chinese phones really aren't waterproof anyway. So let's quickly talk about the screen. It is LCD and not AMOLED. There was some information talking about an in-display fingerprint sensor for the UMiDiGi Z2 Pro, but it looks like they kind of backed off of that. And they have the fingerprint sensor on the back, and the screen is just a regular IPS LCD, not an AMOLED, most likely because it was too expensive to implement, considering the price of this phone, which we will talk about later. Now, in terms of audio, UMiDiGi has traditionally made okay speakers, but they've never been really great. You know, I'm currently using my Smartisan Nut Pro 2, which I have right here, and these are the best speakers I've ever heard in a cell phone. And I think moving from anything, you know, away from the Smartisan Nut Pro 2 to anything else is going to sound horrible. I think if I move to the UMiDiGi Z2 Pro, it's not going to sound too bad, but it's still not going to be amazing. This has the Helio P60 processor and a 3650 mAh battery, and to be honest, we don't know what to expect because the Helio P60 is new. There really isn't any benchmarks or real-life tests for the CPU. Of course, there's the Oppo F7, which GSM Arena just got in for testing just maybe a couple of days ago, but that's pretty much it. You know, no one's actually really tested a Helio P60 in real life, especially for battery efficiency as well. That being said, it theoretically should be almost as good, if not as good, as the Snapdragon 660 or in the Mi Note 3, which can get around 10 hours of screen on time on a 3500 mAh battery, so we'll see how that works. And this phone also has fast charging as well as wireless charging as well, something I'm actually fairly excited for. So let's talk about the software here. This comes with Android 8.1 Oreo, and the great thing is I was really hoping that Yumi wouldn't go back and put their own skin on top of Android, and it's great because here we have completely stock Android, something that we don't see on many other phones actually nowadays, which is kind of sad. So it's good. It's stock Android, Android 8.1 Oreo, which means it does have treble support. And the one thing I noticed that was missing from this software here would be the swipe up gestures that you have on the Smartisan Nut Pro 2 and the Elephone U Pro, where you can swipe up and you don't have to have that little notification bar. Not that notification bar. The 3-button combination at the bottom with the home, back, and multitasking. So that's not there, which means that you are going to have a bar. But then again, that's software, so UMiDiGi can very easily add that in as well. And here, of course, we have Touch ID as well as Face Unlock as well, something that I've actually come to expect in many phones because of how useful it is, and I really hope that we do see this in the UMiDiGi Z2 Pro. Now let's talk about the performance of the Helio P60. I talked a little bit about this in other videos, but theoretically, the P60 should be between a Snapdragon 660 and a Snapdragon 636 in terms of benchmarks and as well as performance. But it's definitely closer to the Snapdragon 660 than it is to the SD636 in terms of performance, which is good, but we'll have to see in real life when we test it. And of course, if you combine the P60 with 6GB of RAM, multitasking on this should be very, very good, no problem at all, as well as gaming as well. And on this phone, it's a 1080p screen, so really no problem on the Helio P60. It's got a Mali triple core, I think, so that shouldn't be too much of a hassle. Now lastly, UMiDiGi, when they're not putting skins on top of their phones, obviously make very well optimized software, so I really do look forward to that in this phone. I use the S2 Lite as well as the S2. The S2 was horrible because Umi put their own skin on top, which really sucked. The UMiDiGi S2 Lite was stock Android, or almost stock Android, and that was pretty well optimized and pretty well designed as well. So no issues over there if they don't put their own skin in, and they're not, so that's a good thing. Okay, honestly, this is going to be the best part of the cell phone, and this is going to be the LTE band. This is a truly global phone. There are 5 band WCDMA 3G, which means that it's going to support pretty much everything in the entire North America. And if we're talking about LTE bands, you're going to get 17 LTE bands, and here they are: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 12, 13, 17, 18, 19, 20, 25, 27, 28A, 28B, and 5 TDD LTE bands as well. Now, I'm not going to ask you guys to go look it up yourself, but I looked it up for you to see where it's compatible. So it's full compatibility in Canada, Rogers, Bell, Telus, no problem at all. Full compatibility in USA with T-Mo, AT&T, Sprint, and Verizon, as well as any carriers that piggyback on those networks. And in India, full compatibility on Vodafone, Reliance, JIO, Airtel, Aircel, and all the other MVNOs that use those people as well. And of course, South America and Europe, no problem there either. So very, very good. Excited because there aren't a lot of global band Chinese phones that have been released. You know, there's maybe like a Huawei or a OnePlus, but here UMiDiGi is starting the trend. So that's very, very good. 17 global LTE bands, no problem in pretty much any major city, major country in the world. So good stuff. And this also has NFC, so I'm going to try that because I just got a credit card that is supported by Android Pay. And I'm pretty excited to try it because I've never had a credit card with Android Pay, so that's going to be pretty good. Now, I'm a little apprehensive about the camera here, and the reason for that is if you're a Chinese company and you're not Xiaomi or Huawei, or well, Oppo and ZTE and people like that, your camera quality is not going to be that great. However, UMiDiGi has in the past been traditionally actually been pretty good. So I did review the UMiDiGi S2 and the UMiDiGi S2 Lite. And if you remember, I was very impressed with the camera quality in both those phones. And I noticed that UMiDiGi actually optimizes enough so that the limitations on the camera quality is actually not it's not the software, but it's actually the hardware. So that's a good thing, and I hope that this trend continues in this phone as well, because the camera hardware looks pretty good, right? You got a 16 megapixel, 8 megapixel dual rear camera, and the same thing on the front. And you got a Sony IMX sensor on the front and a Samsung sensor on the back. So the hardware wise, it's actually pretty good. That being said, I don't really have super high hopes because I just used the Mi Note 3 as well as the Smart Note Pro 2. And now looking at the Mi Note 3, which my friend has now, the camera quality there is so good that it's pretty much better than any phone that I've used except for the Mate 10 as well as the Xiaomi Mi 6, I think. So pretty much no China phone can beat the camera quality, not even the Smartisan. But then the good thing about the Smartisan is that the video quality on that was so stabilized that it looked like I was holding a gimbal when I was just doing something like this. It was absolutely amazing. Now, I don't think UMiDiGi can match up to the camera quality or the stabilization of both those phones, but I do hope that UMiDiGi produces good quality photos, good enough that the camera won't be the deal breaker in this device. Finally, let's talk price. It's going to launch at $370 US. Now, that's expensive, I know, but it's actually a lot cheaper than I was expecting. I mean, if you think about it, even the Elephone U Pro started at, I think, what, $440? So $370 is expensive for a cell phone, but in terms of the specifications you get, and of course, assuming the Helio P60 lives up to the hype, which it actually might not, it really depends on what MediaTek does. if it does live up to the hype, then $370 actually isn't that bad, because if I'm thinking about price, $350 is probably a fair, not on sale price for this phone, the UMiDiGi Z2 Pro. And on sale, maybe $300, $320. That's actually a pretty good price for what you're getting for the phone, especially because it's stock Android. My top rated mid-range phones are the Mi Note 3 and the Smart Note Pro 2, and both of them are not stock Android, so that kind of sucks. That being said, I do think that $350 is probably a better price to launch, but again, I don't have, thousands of dollars worth of marketing and research behind me, so it's just me sitting in front of a camera talking to you. But I really do think that $350 is a better price than $370. Now, thank you so much for being so patient, but now let's talk about the giveaway. UMiDiGi is giving away two phones, the UMiDiGi Z2 Pro and the UMiDiGi Z2, through my channel, Z Reviews Tech. So if you want to enter, all you gotta do is click on the link in the description down below. It's gonna be a Gleam link. You click on it and you enter, and all you have to do is subscribe and click on one link. There are lots of other ways to gain extra entries. For example, you can share it with your friend. You can follow me on Twitter. You can click on other links as well. All of it's gonna be in that link. So all you gotta do is click on it. It'll take you 5 seconds and it costs you $0. And of course, be sure you are subscribed and that the bell icon is turned on so you are notified of new uploads, because you really don't want to miss any new videos I have about the UMiDiGi Z2 and Z2 Pro as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.